Welcome to part 4 of Crapganistand. Still need a name for it. I've gotten multiple suggestions from people to keep the name because I guess it's that good, but still want something a little bit more original. So this massive structure is the new spawn. So you start out right over here and you got a little welcome book. You know, the 3 reasons why it exists here. And we got the history of the world. You can pause the video to read this. And that's the book. So this little starter room, there are 4 sections to this entire place. And it takes up 1 full map. That's how big it is. But we'll start here. Don't mind our nice little frogs, they're all over the place, as you've probably seen in the prior 2 tours. So we have oddities over here, so you can pick block your favorite bedrock oddities. Like glowing obsidian from the Pocket Edition, the initial Pocket Edition. The lava block, so you can put lava wherever you want. The flame block. The end portal piece. You can play a fun little game of limbo. The nether portal. I don't know why it keeps on despawning every single time I come back to it. But at least the block it's in the item frame. The water block. For some reason it became desaturated after I recovered the initial file that had that. And then the old stone cutter from original Bedrock. This was like 2016, maybe even older. I forget how you got it, but it has no use. It used to have a use. And then there's over here, we got our helpful builder tools. We have our structure block, one of the most important tools of all. Our NPC spawn eggs, so we can tell a story, some lore, dialogue. Command blocks for the teleporters and whatever other random stuff people want to do. Barrier blocks, classic. Light block level 15, because that's the only one we really use. If we want dimmer, then we'll just do redstone torches. Jigsaw block, no idea what it does, it just exists. Well, I guess it's a tool. Allow block, it allows you to walk on that space. Deny block doesn't allow you to walk on that space if you're in survival or adventure mode. But over here we have our song recommendations board. In case anyone's in survival, we got some music disc here for the spawn. We got a few good bands and song recommendations here, but we need a lot more. Then there is, our handy command blocks over here. There's our daytime, our nighttime, and this right here, I was trying to figure out a copy and paste bow. It's a little complex. I'm not the greatest with commands. Pretty much all I can do is, that and teleporters. And we got the visitor heart, which is for any visitors. So we got, of course, Tamik here, myself, Pringle, of course, rest in peace, Disturbed 2 Fish, and even my cousin was here. And we got chill out couch over here. So there's essentials, that's why I called it. Then there's map room over here. The map room is it's quite big. So I guess a little heads up about this area. This is the original Afghanistan. I became impatient and I decided to copy the last prior save I had of it. It's still missing about 4 months worth of progress though. But most of this area here, there wasn't much progress that happened there. I mean, there's a little bit of progress right here, a little bit over there, I think, a lot over here, but I'll just copy and paste whatever it is back into the place. And I have a list of all the structures I'm missing. I'm missing Tamik was making a castle over here, this far harbor area, a beach, a lighthouse. Notre Dame was right here. There was a whole additional road going there, and other stuff. So, anyways, getting back to it, I guess I should show you where we are and explain what this actually is. So all these signs and these flags represent the different areas or districts. I tried this before with just signs, but the signs take up a space on the map, so it didn't really work out well, so just use barrier blocks. So this area is the area I showed in the tour up here. There's more back here. But this is Seoul City, of course. You know, the city we have seen in the past 3 episodes of this tour. And that's the Seoul City flag. Over here, this was Tamik's area I showed on tour. He established it as Hope County. I still need to put it up there. This isn't actually his flag. I just put that there because it was one of the flags he made. But he's going to make a flag for Hope County. Over here, there's a new section, Little New York. This is based off the actual New York flag. And then there's DC across this cool bridge. We'll look at that later. Over here, I forget if I think I moved the war zone over. The war zone used to be here. There used to be a massive wall, and I figured it would be better to expand out the art district right here. So we moved the Dalton / the war zone up there. I'm going to make lore for this entire world. I just need to get to it. That and making interiors for buildings. So Dalton / war zone. Dalton's going to be a little town here, and it's, you know, a war zone. It's also the PvP area. Then over here, this is New Saint City. This was made by a great friend, Nontree. I want to archive what he made. Unfortunately, most of this build was modded, so I have to interpret how I think it would look with vanilla blocks. And also, it's a little outdated because he lost the most recent save of the world. But he always has problems with his Xbox losing his world, so I figured it would be a good idea to archive it for him. Alright. So over here we have the MISC building area, the transfer area. It's where I put all the temporary assets, stuff I may integrate later, or from worlds which I won't be able to get back on, or stuff like that. And there's a little map art area back that way. And this site right here was in the original Afghanistan, and it was moved later on. Nothing else happened to this place really, but it was just later on moved from its original location. So I figured I needed to find a better place for it. And right here it works. Then there's Philmont, which was from the original Afghanistan. Philmont is a scout ranch in New Mexico, very infamous in the Boy Scouts of America, now the Scouts of America, because they rebranded to have both genders included. But I was going to recreate the entire Philmont welcome area based on the map and the pictures I took when I was there. That didn't really fall through, but I'm still going to work on it. This little thing over here, this was part of the, that's the undersection, the dungeon of this church. And then this right here is the original Afghanistan museum, which I expanded to add the ruins. And I think I will be going over that maybe in this video, maybe not. It's already getting a little long, and we haven't really shown much. Then there's San Siran City, which is my western town. This was also updated to be like, complete desert area. And there were, I think, 2 more buildings added. But for now, we're going to just have it here. And later on, I will add over the fantasy area, which I originally started in the most recent copy of Afghanistan, which still hasn't been recovered. Then, of course, we have the Hall of Ancestors, which I showed. I forget if it was this completed. I'm still not sure what to do for the little roof parts there. Well, over here we have Sage City. It was originally a futuristic Halo 3. Y'all know the game Halo 3? It's inspired by Mombasa City from Halo 3 ODST. When I played Halo 3 ODST for the first time, that was my favorite Halo game after that. The vibe of it, the nighttime city, exploring this futuristic place, and also having very limited health in that game since you didn't have shield generation as much compared to Spartans. But I wanted to make a city inspired off of that. And unfortunately, I believe the original world, X is so sad. No, it wasn't X is so sad. That was a funny one. But Sad Chernobyl, or Chernobyl, I believe we called it. Unfortunately, the original copy of this was lost, so I was trying to recreate that. Over here, this is where we are. Literally takes up one whole map. And so this area right here sort of transitions between the 2 cities. So we got, the rest of Seoul City over here, and then New Afghanistan City is what I'm calling it. And this is the new flag, since the original was less original. But here is pretty much all of it. And I guess that is the map. Alright, so moving on, there is Afghanistan City. New Afghanistan City. This is going to be a military base, or was going to be. I forget if I moved it. Then there's this little industrial district. And don't mind Obama over here. Tamek made that. So you may notice that this is a walled-in area, and there's a lot of destruction. There's this whole encroaching industrial thing crushing the houses. And so this area is known as the Dead City. I took inspiration off of the game Stray. That game where you play as a cat and you're in this pretty much bunker city made for the last hope of humanity, but they all perished. Sort of the same vibe here. So here's some of the notes I had. Dead City. Stuff like that. Wait, what? Okay, that was definitely Tamek. But the vibe is like this really ruined looking city. Pretty much all the original inhabitants died. And in the lore I have going so far for it, pretty much what happened was this one business released a virus, dropped a bomb right over here, released this virus, and it caused people to have to stay in this quarantine zone. This is their religion that they made off of it, called the Church of Trash. So they have their own religion where they just make stuff out of trash. And this area right here is Brewington Inc. So Brewington Inc. Here, let's set today to see better. Brewington Inc. used to be a company I created in a world known as Pravda Reunited. Pravda corrupted. So then there was Great Depression Simulator, and that's where these builds are from. They're from Great Depression Simulator. Bruinting Inc. specializes in production of rubber, tea, trash disposal, iron, all that type of stuff. Pretty much anything industrial. But the lore here is that they're actually secretly dumping their waste trash into the area, pretty much using it as a disposal. This area isn't complete as well, but it is still pretty cool. But I guess moving on now there, we have, this is I guess the capital type district, or sort of like the mall, sort of inspired off the DC Mall. Now, Afghanistan Remastered, or New Afghanistan, was originally inspired from the world Afghanistan. So this is a replica of the Afghanistan capital. In a more recent save, I did complete the interior for it, but as you can see, it's pretty bare bones right now. There's also this cool looking pool that I made, and this, I guess, miniature looking Washington Memorial. Damn, 3 years ago. That's why I had these guys. So this is Gary, and this is Zero. They were my pet goldfish. And on my original Nature Man YouTube, I used to post videos about these guys. They sadly died to a white ick infection. But so right after I made these little statues of them, they're all cool, and each statue's made for them. And then probably the most interesting thing you can find on the map that is why is this here? This was my original bunker, also inspired by Halo 3, this time solely by Halo 3. But this was my bunker from Afghanistan. It is, I think it was 320 blocks long, ridiculously long, but it was right behind the Capitol building right here. So right now it's not really lit up because, I did finish this way in the original save. Oh, that's right. And I was also using Education Edition stuff. I was using hardened stained glass here. So when I copy this over, I don't know why, but it just didn't recognize the world as having Education Edition enabled, so it just stopped with that. But over here, this is supposed to be the tank side of the hangar, and then there's a whole maintenance tunnel that runs parallel to the hallways here. I guess so after I left Afghanistan, the world, they did take over my bunker, and that's why there's little missile things on the top. And also that's why they put all of my signs as highlighted. They actually had to put directions as well. Oh, once again, this was that special glass, so that's why it's all water leaking. Yeah, special glass here as well. But it's a cool redstone door I got someone to build. I won't go over the entire tour of this, but since it's really massive, I mean crazy massive, but there's a whole library. This had all the original Afghanistan books, all the law books and stuff. So yeah, it was just a really neat build. And this is the car section and my version of a warthog. So I guess going back out here of this dark tunnel, we had Lenny Bar. I think I completed more of it once again. But Lenny Bar, so if any of you know the game Red Dead Redemption 2, there is a scene in the story where you go into a bar with the character Lenny. And so you're just trying to find Lenny while you're like stone-faced drunk. And so I want to reference that with this little Lenny bar. Over in this area, so I guess we'll go over to this building. This building was also from Great Depression Simulator. I copied it over and now I'm using it as a library. Oh, but I guess the copying process didn't go so well because it's, you know, one-off. But this is all the books from all different Minecraft worlds. And this was the best archive I had of all those books. Some of them were law books, others were like, I don't know, funny little existence of life type things. And there's even all the banners there as well. With a weird J. I guess I guess in this episode we'll just do the rest of these museums and then we'll call it good, and then we'll go to the next episode and continue to explore, since this video is already getting long. So this building right here, oh, I should have said, this building may look a little familiar, and that's because I built it using the original Minecraft building handbook. A little bit of nostalgia, you know, using the cobblestone, the wood, the glass, and all. But I turned it into the X is So Sad museum. X is So Sad was a survival world I played on around like 2021, I think. But pretty much the world corrupted, but there was some strange mine things that happened. We called the ores cursed ores, since strange things were happening in that mine. And oh, what was it? Oh yeah, that's right. I made a video on it actually. I released the footage from the mines. I recorded it on Xbox back in the day, so the found footage mine video on this channel that I released a while back, that's what that's based on, is X is So Sad. But I don't really have much in that museum. There wasn't much notable museum items. Over here, this one is the Chernobyl, or Sad Chernobyl Museum. So there was actually a museum in Sad Chernobyl, so I copied over what I could remember. There was an overpass, and they had this little massive homeless shopping cart with dogs in it. And then there's quarantine checks throughout Sage City, the one city I was trying to recreate. So in the lore of Sad Chernobyl, pretty much what happened was there was like this stone virus that happened, and we made this happen by making the armor stands look like stone NPCs pretty much. Of course, I had the tea industry. I guess that was me planning out the rest. But yeah, that was the lore. Over here, these are the flags. This is the Afghanistan revolutionary flag. So the American flag used to be the Afghanistan flag for some reason, because, I don't know, us in 2020 must have been really unoriginal. And then there was back the blue flag, you know, because they were a little bit political. The Sage City flag is the Chernobyl area flag, or the Chernobyl Republic flag. And there's the Chernobyl flag. But this is the little diagram I did of everything. Founding of Chernobyl, founding of Sage City, like it had this massive tower on the top. Stone virus outbreak, there was a second wall built. And this is like the Chernobyl radiation area. This is the virus zone, and this is like the chill area, I guess. And there's the recreation of like the virus stuff. Oh yeah, and then there's the completion of the Exososad Canal. This happened right after Exososad was corrupted. It was an amazing canal. I still have pictures of it. And then there's the end of the virus in the city. So like the walls were torn down. This one was stronger. And the first Chernobyl colony. And then the destruction of Chernobyl, because I might have blown it up once. It was a realm, so it was good. And I might have had footage of me blowing up Chernobyl. I don't know, I might re-upload that if I still have that footage. But going out here, we have this museum right here. And for this to make sense, you gotta go to that museum as well. But I think we'll start that on the next video since I don't want this to be too lengthy. So I'll see y'all for part 5 of the tour.